Hey guys.
Highly unprepared.
What's that?
I'm highly unprepared.
Yeah, we can change the order if you like, no problem.
No, I mean, I can go. I forget.
Thank you, Kyle. Appreciate it.
Oh, I have that too.
Yeah, whenever you guys have it. Even if you want to give them to tomorrow, that's fine. But
I don't want to worry about it tomorrow.
Really fancy conference rooms here.
Yeah,
Hey,
they're
Ryan.
nice. I think I'm gonna. I think it's.
just waiting for Ariel, and then we're kicked off.
Hey, Jesse, could you unmute your computer so we've got one live mic in the room?
Yep. Yeah, we're just Ariel just arrived, and we're just answering a couple questions. About to kick off in just a minute here. Thank you, Max, for keeping
Cool.
track.
Thanks.
Okay, unless there's the computer audio, even if I have it muted for my voice,
All right.
am I gonna have to unmute my voice? We'll test it out. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what today's for. Test all the kinks. So, all right, everyone. Thanks again, everyone, for joining. I think perhaps for the first person, everyone's actually been together in person. So, for common space operating protocols, we do recommend wearing a mask. If you're unvaccinated or vaccinated is optional, but for today only. And I'll say this again once they get into the Lemoyne operating protocols. I know we just had a total 180 kind of thrown at us. The short answer is just wear your mask at all times unless you're eating, sitting and eating, and when you're coming up to the stage to speak for your capstone presentations. If you want to bring a proof of vaccination, great, or a negative COVID test, great, but it's not required anymore. So just bring your masks, don't forget them. We'll have a bunch of masks there as well. I'm doing all the PPE and stuff, but for tomorrow, just as a heads up, that's the protocol. And I'll say this again because it's important. But for today, I'm just going to run through a couple quick announcements I'm sure you guys have seen before, and like the rundown for both today and tomorrow. And then we'll go into the dry runs real quick. A lot of the guys, hopefully, you guys have already seen this in Slack, but I just want to send reminders to everyone. Can you guys read this okay? And if not, I'm just going to read it off. So I think you've already seen this, but mail day, please give me your thank you notes today if you have them. If you're doing it digitally, you can send them directly to the individuals on the spreadsheet. So just fire off emails, but please give those to me today if you have them. If you plan to write in-person physical notes, you can give them to me tomorrow. But just a reminder for the mail day for all the thank yous. Another reminder just for stipends. I already talked to somebody about this, but spend your money. It's yours to spend. If you have expenses for gas or mileage from this week, use it for those things. Cafe coupon and whatnot. So use those stipends. Technically, there's no expiry date on those, but please spend that money. It is yours to spend. Common size memberships. For those of you that have them, they end on the 15th of next month. If you like your own membership, please let me know and I can help connect you with Joe who can get your own membership started. But after the 15th, you will no longer be able to get in this building, just as a heads up. Capstone stuff. I think everyone's RSVP by now, but if for whatever reason you have it, please do so and update the guest count coming. I'll go over the last week of class in just a minute. I just want to kind of, 24 weeks, guys. This is, I don't know about you guys, but I cannot believe we are about to graduate tomorrow. It hasn't hit me yet. It might tomorrow, it might the day after. Max said in Slack much better than I can, but this is a time to celebrate your learning, right? This is a time to celebrate your 24 weeks of hard work, grit, perseverance, all the sacrifices you've all made. So celebrate that, right? That's what tomorrow's about, and really being able to share your story with everyone about, how you got here and how you're going to do amazing things in the next chapter of your life now that you're all software developers. One of the things as well that Max kind of pointed out, and I figure I'll point out as well, I get really nervous talking in front of people too. I think most people do. But if you're nervous, it means you care, right? It means that you care about this like deeply. So once you get up there and you're talking for a minute, those jitters and those nerves will hopefully dissipate. But the two things you can do, obviously dry run in a minute, but practice a lot tonight and tomorrow if you can. And if everything crashes and burns, make sure you have offline first solutions, just in case the slides don't work for some reason, your app doesn't work for whatever reason. Make sure you have, backup plans for those things in case everything does fail. We have seen it happen at past hackathons, so I just want to say it has happened. So just be ready for that in case things all crash and burn.
One other thing I'll throw out there.
In terms of dry run stuff for today, I'll run through really quickly. So I'm going to kind of switch to the 24-week agenda document real quick before I talk about today. I'll kind of talk a little bit about tomorrow first, and then I'll back up to what we're doing today. So again, tomorrow you're going to Lemoyne College. You can park in lot C or double E. I have a link right on this parking map you can plug into and a map here. This is not the day to be late, so get there early, if anything, if you can. We'll officially get going at 6 p.m., but try to be there by like 5:15, 5:30 at the latest, just so we can, make sure everyone's there and present. For those of you attending virtually, we'll take a look at the Zoom and make sure everyone's on there as well before we kick off. I think you've hopefully seen most of these resources and whatnot already. In terms of tomorrow, again, another reminder, masks are required. And I'm saying this twice because it's important. Masks are required at the events unless you're sitting down and eating or presenting. If you want to bring a vaccination status or a negative COVID test, you're welcome to do so. But again, it is not required. So just bring your mask. We will have masks available as well. In terms of the actual rundown for tomorrow, it'll be very similar to how you've done your Capstone demo days. So we'll have a main laptop, kind of like we're in right now, my laptop at the front, and it'll have audio and video going. And so when you come to the front of the room, you'll ultimately mute your audio and mute your video, and you'll simply share your screen at the front of the podium. I'll be up there as well. So if you're having problems getting connected or whatever, I can help you out with all that. So I'll be next to you, don't worry. Again, make sure that your solutions work offline first in case everything crashes and burns. When I'm calling folks up, I will say up now we have your name, and on deck we have another name. So you'll know what order you're going, and we'll get the order in just a minute here. We'll also be recording and live streaming just like we've done all of our classes for tomorrow. In terms of timing for your presentation, and again, I hope a lot of this is sounding familiar. But your presentation being anywhere between 5 to 6 minutes long with a 6-minute maximum. We recommend 2 to 3 minutes for your actual presentation and your slides and whatnot, and then 2 to 3 minutes for your demo. Dana will be keeping time, should be keeping time today as well. You have 2 minutes left. She's going to hold up a sign that says 2 minutes left. Do your demo. When your time's up, she'll hold up another sign. We're going to wait 20 or 30 seconds, and then we're going to those slow claps to yank you off stage. We just got to keep time here. When you're done, we'll have about 30-second to 1 minute Q&A. If there are no questions, the next person will go up. The one thing that's really important is while the previous person is answering questions, the next person should be up on the stage, ready to go, ready to start their screen share. That's really important just to keep everything flowing smoothly. And one thing I just noted today, but if you have any concerns with regard to connectivity issues, if you're turning in virtually, or if you're afraid your demo might crash, you can record your Capstone demo if you'd like, and then present that during graduation. We certainly would encourage you, to do it live if you can, and again, have that backup offline first solution. But you are able to record either via QuickTime or a Zoom call and record that. So I just want to note that if you have any concerns around your apps or your APIs or anything like that. In terms of the actual graduation, so there will be a graduation ceremony slide, and I'll show you guys the flow in just a minute, but I'll say a couple words. I'll call each one of you that are attending in person one by one. They'll come to the stage, you'll get a certificate. We'll have myself, Jason, Laura, Doug, Dana on stage. If you're comfortable with shaking hands, you can do so. If not, you can just walk by everyone and kind of do like a little wave or an elbow or whatever you'd like, whatever you're comfortable with. But we'll be on stage kind of just celebrating with you. We're going to be taking a bunch of pictures as you're walking stage. So we'll have a photographer there. Of course, your friends and family are welcome to take pictures as well. We love to get a big group photo on stage with everyone. So when you're done, I'll kind of be near the podium, just kind of stand near me. It might be like a little awkward for the first or second person, but stand there, we'll all kind of gather. And then once everyone has officially walked the stage, we'll get back to, main stage and take a group photo with everyone, just so we have a photo opportunity. Again, just another reminder, hopefully you guys are all familiar with this, but 5:30 to 6 p.m. we'll have, some pizza, wings, salad. If you don't like those foods, then eat beforehand. We'll have some light networking opportunities. 6 to 6:15, we'll have intros and opening remarks, and then we'll try to do our best to kick off right at 6:15 with those Capstone presentations. And then following those Capstone presentations, whenever they end, we'll have the graduation. In terms of who will be there, again, I'm really hoping most of this is repeat and you guys are sick of me talking right now, I'm hoping. But who will be there? Obviously all you, instructors and TAs, folks in the community. We expect a handful of local employers to be there as well. kind of celebrating with you all. So we'll have about 50 to 60 based on the RSVPs in person, and then we'll probably have anywhere between like 15 to 20, I'd say virtually. But that's just, who is in the audience and who's there. Again, I probably already said this, but this is not the day to arrive late. So please try to be there like 5:30 at the absolute latest. If you're there a little early, if you know you're going to be a little late, that's fine. Just let me know. I already know a couple of folks, that might have concerns about being a little late. That's fine. Just let me know well beforehand. And just also note that the state fair is happening. So there's a pretty sizable amount of traffic there. So just kind of plan that in your commute time. And then in terms of presentations, I'll kind of take a quick break here, but this is what I have right now. I just did alphabetically and shifted a couple of folks, but right now, this is the order that we're planning to present. So, and in fact, I'll blow it up real quick so that I can show everyone that's the current order we have. If there are any concerns with this or people want to be moved around, please let me know. But otherwise, I'm going to go once, twice, and 3 times. And if
I can't see it.
no one says anything, this is the order we're going to go in. So I'll let everyone review that for a moment. And if there are any concerns, please let me know. So,
Jesse, I don't know if you put it in Zoom. We can't see.
Oh, hey, Dominique, I'm sorry. I thought I was sharing my screen.
No,
I'm so
it's
sorry. I
fine.
thought I was sharing my screen this whole time. Someone should have yelled at me way sooner. Sorry, that's my fault. I'm sorry, Dominique.
No, I didn't know you were supposed to be showing your screen. I was just
I'm
listening.
sorry. That is totally my fault. I was just going over the week 24 document, Dominique. I'm sorry. Can you see my screen now? Okay, Dominique and everyone?
That's great. Thank you.
I'm sorry about that. All right, so order presentations. This is the order we have right now. So going once, going twice. All right, guys, we're locked in at this order. So this is the order I'll be presenting tomorrow. All right, and then in terms, just another couple quick things, and then we'll get to the dry ones, I promise. How you should dress business casual. So how you might for like an interview or something like that. Where to sit, you can sit wherever you want. You can sit with each other. You can sit with your friends and your family, whatever you'd all prefer. For the first court, we had all our students sit together, but you guys can sit wherever you like. So whatever you want to do, sit wherever you want. One thing I want to note just around having thank you slides, because this kind of occurred from our first cohort. So I know a lot of the time people have like a thank you slide dedicated for the presentation. You can do that, but it becomes kind of tricky because most people will do their presentation, they'll do their demo, and then they have to represent their presentation. So we recommend not having an actual thank you slide. And then at the end of your demo, simply just, give any thanks if you'd like to at that point. Again, if you are confident and comfortable with switching between your demo and the thank you slide really quickly, go for it. But we recommend simply just saying thank you at the end if you'd like. And again, guys, these Capstone celebration, it's a celebration of your learning over these 24 weeks. So that is why we're coming tomorrow together to show off what you've built, and you should be really proud of these past 24 weeks. I like to encourage you all to think of where you were 6 months ago, and if you're feeling nervous or discouraged, think about that, and celebrate this journey that you've all been through. All right, so with that being said, so now we're gonna jump into the mock interviews, or not mock interviews. Oh my goodness. You can tell where my brain's at today, everyone. We're going to jump into the dry ones in just a minute. So this is like literally going to be how it's going to go tomorrow. Okay. For those of you, just as a heads up, for those of you that will be going virtually right now, the audio in here is a little quiet. So as you're presenting, try to keep those doors closed just as a heads up. All right, so I'm going to go through these slides starting at 6 p.m. I'm going to, go through all the slides, blah, blah, blah. Bill's going to come up, say some stuff. I'm going to talk about careers in code. Going to go through all this, talk about the schedule, thank our team, thank the instructors, thank our TAs, thank our guest speakers, thank our partners, thank our mock interviewers. A lot of thank yous, by the way. One slide I wanted to note for everyone. So these are I'm sorry, this is blocking. So these are the photos we have for everyone we'll be displaying. If you want an updated photo, please send that to me on Slack or via email. Otherwise, this would be the photo that's displayed. I just got it off like whatever profiles you guys had. So they're probably a little outdated. So if you want an updated photo to display here, please let me know and send it to me so that I can update it here. And then I'll say what the Capstone project is. And then talk about logistics. Again, this is all stuff that you already all know, but just for the audience. So 6-minute max, 1-minute Q&A, data keeping time. And then we'll start. So this is when we'll actually start the real thing. All right. So this is when I lost the order already, so I have to pull it up. But hopefully someone knows better than I can. I think Susan, we had you first. All right. So again, for this demo here, you're going to remain seated.
So I'm talking to my Zoom like we normally do.
Exactly right. So I'm going to go on mute here, and then I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and then Susan, feel free to take it away. All right, so up now we have, I'm sorry guys, I need to get the slides. So the real thing, again, I would say, if I can get my, 1 second. I normally have 2 laptops, so I'm not fumbling around like this, but I would say up now, we have Susan, and on deck, we have Brandy. So Susan, feel free to take it away whenever you like.
Sorry. I'm trying to move this. Okay.
Yeah, because it feels an echo.
All right. Sorry. Okay. Hi, I'm Susan, and what should I do for the echo?
That's me. That's me. Don't worry. Let me fix that. Sorry.
Okay.
Give me 1 second.
Oh, hold on. Sorry. I don't think it's on there.
1 second. Okay. All right, we're good.
Okay. Hi, I'm Susan, and I'm here to talk about my project for Careers in Code. A little bit about me. I was a server and a bartender for a very long time. Of course, we all know what happened with the pandemic. Lost my job, was looking for something to do, looking for new skills. I found the Careers in Code program and actually forgot all about it until I got an email that they were taking applications. So I applied and was accepted, which was very exciting. And that started my journey in March. So for my capstone, I was thinking about music festivals. I moved to Syracuse in 2020 when there weren't any, but I was wondering what was going to be around when music comes back. And how do I figure that out? I don't really use Facebook or Instagram. So that was the germ of my idea, how to figure out this information and how to show it to other people. My first vision was an app on your phone with a map, but I quickly realized that was kind of extremely broad in general for physically, geographically, and also like what I knew how to do or what I was going to learn. So I switched to a website with location-based listings and started from there. How did I do it? A lot of pen and paper, a lot of handwritten notes, lots of Googling. The tech we used was basically what my instructors all recommended and were familiar with. HTML, CSS, JavaScript, Node, MySQL, Postgres, Heroku. We just kind of learned in order and added each piece to our website as we went. What were the challenges? This question was fun. A lot of challenges with syntax and just, I don't know, forgetting brackets, backticks. CSS was a particular challenge for me, all the way up to the end. Things can take forever, but it's fun when you get something that works and it looks how you want it to look. And how did I stay sane through all this? I actually grew a tomato plant from seed for the first time, and it turned ripe last week. And swimming at the local parks and kayaking and disc golf and stuff like that. And now to my website. So here it is. I didn't name it. I thought of some clever names that have been taken. So I'm still thinking. But when you refresh, I set up JavaScript to do a a different quote every time you come back to the page, so you see something new. And then I used all these open source old maps for each section of the state. I even tried to get a little crazy and have it organized how the state would be. So it's semi in order. It was hard to do with squares instead of a full map. Let's see. And then when you click to your region, you want to see what's going on in Hudson Valley. And these are the 2 festivals that are coming up. And then each festival has a link that will take you out to their page, and you can learn more about it and, buy tickets, yada, yada. I did everything as a pop out in case you want to just have it all up on your screen. I think that's me. I'm just used to a lot of tabs. And I have also another feature working on a favorites button. This is only local right now because I didn't set up user authentication, but in the future I can do that so people can come back to the page and save what they've done. And, and a search feature. And that's it.
You have 2 minutes left.
Oh,
I was just like,
that's all I got. I mean, I can expand next tomorrow, but that was most of it, unless I show the search.
so Jesse, logistics wise, they're gonna need to.
Somebody want to come off mute so the remote people can hear? Anybody? It's so lonely in here.
I know, I feel like the neglected, like redheaded stepchild right now.
They all look like they're having such a good time too. I want to be a part.
I think part of the problem is the remote volume is down in the room, so they can't even hear we're talking. Oh, Jesse came off mute. Never mind.
Yeah. So we have an echo kind of, so I have to like turn off the audio if that makes sense when people are talking. So sorry. So basically, when someone's presenting, I won't be able to hear you at all. But as soon as they get done, I'll turn it off so we can hear everyone on the call again. So sorry, anyone that was commenting on anything. Does that make sense?
Thanks, Jesse.
Thank you. I'm sorry. This is not going as smooth as I anticipated.
Oh.
All right. Any thoughts, anyone on the virtual call for Susan? Any questions?
I thought she did wonderful. I'm just worried that someone's gonna ask me a question. It's fine.
I-
They didn't really ask like. I don't remember all the questions because I was a nervous wreck. It was like they asked questions, and if you don't know the exact answer, you can say, you can just say like, yeah, I didn't really like touch on that, but like I found this difficult, or like try to find a way, and it's okay to say like I don't really know.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with saying you don't know right now, especially but you say like I don't know if that's something that I'm interested in learning more about. But I don't remember being asked questions like this about my project. A lot of the questions were directed like specifically about like your project and like what you did and like that kind of stuff. So you should be able to answer the questions.
It's perfectly fine to say like, yeah, like Kim's point, like if you just get a left fielder and you don't know, like it's fine to say I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, you're new at this. It's expected that you're not gonna know everything. So
Yeah.
Thank you.
Nathan, sorry, were you gonna say something, Nathan? Sorry, I saw you coming up mute for a minute.
I was just gonna say, Susan, I loved the first part before you got into the demo. you built something really cool, and I felt like you were more hyped about the first half than the demo. Like you kind of got to the demo and were like, and I built this thing, and here's, and you downplayed it for some reason. Like that same enthusiasm that you came into that first half with, it would be awesome if you carried it in the second, because you built something really cool. Like don't sell yourself short or downplay what you did, or downplay maybe the fact that you didn't do all the things that you wanted to. It's we're excited. Your excitement would carry us.
Yeah, I think the other part of that is things you didn't get to are not a bad thing, right? The thing you want to think about for things you didn't get to is opportunities that you can build in the future, right? Because anyone who has built software understands that software is never finished. So instead of thinking about it as things I didn't get to, think about it as what I want to do next. And that's like a level of honesty that you get, right? Of like, oh, people actually understand, like there are more things that I want to do on this.
And
You're on now, Dana, sorry.
I was also going to add when it comes to
Try now.
okay. I was also going to add when it comes to selling, well, not selling, presenting what you put together, just think of it like selling furniture. So this is my site and it features this, 5 links. I have images on this page. And, if you have a form, say, when you click here, it goes to this page that has a form. And when somebody fills out the form, it will go to an email, or it's being handled by a back-end database that does something like little things like that.
Okay.
Yeah, because you really do have something wonderful and we want to know what it is. I have no idea what it is. It looks cute, but tell me what it does.
Thank you, yeah.
Okay.
All right, very good. All right, I'll put my audio back up just for the, anything else, anyone virtually? All right, great job, Susan. All right, up now. Yeah, we're gonna learn applause. Going first is really hard, so I appreciate you, Susan. All right, up now, we have Brandy. On deck, we have Brielle. So Brandy, if you want to go ahead and I'll throw myself.
Okie dokie. All right, so I'm Brandy, and here we go. Okay, so I'm still navigating my way around Canva, but we're gonna start from the top. Okay, so this is me and my journey. Before I came into the program, I was very much wandering.
Take your mask off while you're
Oh,
presenting. Yeah, take it off while you're presenting. Go ahead.
excuse me. Before I began this journey, I was very much wandering quite aimlessly. Ooh. I don't got this.
It's okay.
I know.
Just take it from the top. It's okay. Use your slides to help you.
So before the program, I was only certified for security. Graduating college, the degree didn't go far. That's where it was. I didn't know how to put my skills best for what I wanted to do. So I went into security. And a year after that, I quit security and thought I wanted to be my own boss. So I did Instacart. That didn't work out, but I learned a lot. I tried my best to avoid the rabbit hole I was falling down. And a relative told me to go to OnPoint. And I told them OnPoint is for college, not for struggling young adults. And I continued, and I had a meeting, and at On Point, I got the chiropractor I needed. I got straightened out, and I was asked if I could do anything. What was it that interests me? Not what anybody else expected from me. What was it that I wanted? And I wanted to write and I wanted to develop. But I was told that those two things do not go together. But I'm determined to make them go together. When the person I met with at On Point, T-Lie, said, "I'm glad you said you wanted to code because I know somebody that can get you there." And after that sentence, I wound up meeting Dana. I wound up here. And I plan on continuing. So that's enough about me. We're gonna get into the capstone. So sustainability in Syracuse is a problem and an opportunity. The city of Syracuse websites are rather outdated. From my experience, they're getting updated, but from what I've seen, the sustainability initiatives are behind. So I wanted to create an option outside of the endless scrolling and the endless searching, a more refined search on sustainability. And more or less inside a conversation for those initiatives. Here's the jazz. At some point, I thought I was gonna grab city data like Caitlin did, but 86 that plan. I don't have my stack down. That is still what I'm working on. I will have it tomorrow. So challenges. Oh, you mean node imploding? Yeah, that broke. I did not solve that problem. That was Max. But the computer throwing moment would have to be cutting off my server the night before and messaging Max on the dramatic, like, it's Node. Node hates me. It's gotta be Node. And I wrote a note. But when Max said, no, it's your server, I looked at the note and realized, yeah, though it was one of those, if you had a brain, you'll be dangerous. To those of us that grew up with that, that was it. So next steps, that's what this slide is gonna be. Next steps. And continuing with my capstone. But from there, we now have our feature presentation. And it's this, wha-bam. Okay, so the third one did not arrive for the party, and I'm finishing my data. But that's what we have. We have a slider, real, and we got places to go whenever that loads. Articles to see. So yeah. That is where I am. That was my journey, and I plan on continuing with JavaScript, at least starting from there. But thank you. Yeah.
All right. Questions or thoughts for Brandy?
I will tell you, or maybe you panicked, but that looks way better than you made. Give yourself some credit. That's, listen, for lack of a better term, that's badass. Give yourself some credit. Seriously.
Yeah, the one piece of advice, Brandy, is take a deep breath. Seriously, like I know it sounds so stupid, but like, you know, when I get on stage tomorrow, I'm going to take 2 or 3 deep breaths just to kind of prepare myself. You're going to be nervous. I'm going to be nervous, and we're all going to be nervous, right? So once you got going though, Brandy, like you had it. I think you had a little trouble kind of joining the ideas, but like once you started like getting into the groove, you know, so just try to maintain that kind of flow. One other thing I want to call out too, I think it was your 4th slide where you kind of had like drawings and oh, that was great. You talked about it only for like 10 seconds though. So talk about that idea process, right? Here's how I took what's on paper to my app. Like talk about that, right? That's what people are going to really love to hear about. And you know, just practice, right? So don't have, I mean, like I pack my slides with notes. Like no one sees it, but I write a script. You know, if you feel that you need to do that, and I would say for everyone as well, you know, if you need to write out like, here are 3 to 4 bullet points I'm going to hammer home on each slide, maybe not verbatim, but just by the virtue of writing those down and kind of practicing to, you know, that script, that'll help you a lot. Every deck and presentation I have, I make a script. And so I would encourage you to do that. And, you know, everyone else too, honestly, because it'll just help you with that practice. So.
One thing I will throw out on that is that make sure you print out a copy of whatever presenter notes or outlines you're going to do, because when you share your screen in Zoom, you won't be able to see the presenter notes. And so you want to be really careful that you're not relying on them. You go to share your screen and then you don't have them anymore. Or even worse, you share your screen and they show up and you're like, oh, I didn't think that would be shown to anyone. So have a backup copy, actually print it out. Outlines are great and note cards are great, right? Whatever works better for you. It's a little bit more professional to be reading off like a paper outline or note cards than it is to be reading off your phone. But if it's last minute and the phone is all you have that ready for a backup. But I don't do any presentation without some kind of outline, even if it's just a high level, like, all right, here's the order of my slides and just like a couple words on what I want to hit on. That reminder can be so important to keep you on target and make sure you're not running through it too fast and you're not done in 2 minutes.
Thank you.
If I can just add without the echo. Okay, remember, we're here to celebrate your accomplishments. So this is not class where we're going to critique you. You all have to help us to help you celebrate this moment. Also remember that you're in a room full of people who don't know what you've done for these past 24 weeks. So things that people are going to want to hear is, what am I looking at? What is the name of your website? What does it do, or what is it supposed to do? So if you have links that work, this link goes here, this goes here, kind of describe to us where we're going, because if you're clicking and you're showing it, but you're not really telling me, you know, what I'm looking at or what it's supposed to do. I'm looking at it, but there's no context. So help us in the audience to enjoy and kind of follow what's going on. You know, because we may not get it. It's like, oh, it's cute, but what is it? Simple things like that.
One thing, which one?
Yep, go ahead.
Just kind of like as going through your story, like I would just encourage you to, you know, like if there's something that, that was kind of hard for you, like, hey, I graduated, the degree I got, I had a hard time, like say one negative and then maybe hit a positive, but you know what, like once you started talking, like, hey, you talked about what you really wanted to do, writing and coding, and you're like, oh, it's impossible. You're like, I'm going to make it do it. It's like, bam, like, I want to see, then your just kind of your perspective, your voice change. And then it's like, oh, Brandy's, so I don't know, just kind of like, maybe like, just kind of like, hey, like, I'm going to hit on the struggle, but then pretty quick, I'm going to turn it to like, hey, this is what I did. I didn't just sit there. I said, I'm going to combine writing and coding, and I don't know, then it just seemed like a big shift. Like, honestly, the first bit, it was just, I can tell it's a tough time. I just wanted to kind of throw that out there.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Just echoing on what Dana has thrown out, it's also the one way to think about it is it isn't just about showing your front end, right? And that's obviously what you're screen sharing and what you're demoing, but it's so easy to look at your code and think like, oh, that's the only thing that I can show off. So you really want to think about this as not only what front end code am I showing, but what's happening behind the scenes or under the covers. And that's what you want to share, right? So it's not just, I made this website. It's, okay, I made this full stack app and it's connected to the back end. And when I load this page, It's actually doing an API call that is, accessing data through SQLize, through to Postgres, and all of that data is flowing from my database to the back end, back to the front end, right? So like, tell that story. There's a lot of headache that you guys went through to get all of that to work. So that's what you want to celebrate, right? It's not just, here's my site. It's, here's this full stack app and it's doing all of this stuff that took me 26 weeks to learn, and me banging my head against the computer and me wanting to throw it out the window. And that's what I want to show off, right? So it's not just, here's my website. It's, here's my website. And even though I'm only showing this one thing, I want to give you a look at all the things that that's actually doing.
Thanks for the feedback, Max. All right. Up next, we have Brielle, and then on deck, we have Dominique. Turn my volume down and go on mute.
And I'll be on stage also, so I know I'm not helping right now because I have to control this, but I will be there to help you.
Okay. And I'll snap when you get to 2 minutes.
All right. So I am Brielle Daly, a new full stack developer. And here's my contact information. So I am here because I have been in a different career up until now. I was a direct support professional for the last 6 years, which I loved, but there wasn't anywhere else for me to go. I love building and I love creating, and I needed something where I could grow. And a coworker of mine said her daughter had completed this program and raved about it, and she highly encouraged me to apply, and that was one of the best decisions I've ever made. So my project that I created was ilovecny.com, and it was a lot of work, but we learned so much through this boot camp. I was able to complete it. My problem was that I love Central New York and other people just weren't appreciating it. So, I am an active person that loves exploring my community, and I'm always finding new things to do. And people would ask me, how did you find that? What is it that you did the other weekend? And I didn't know how to share it with everyone. It's like, oh, well, I Google searched this and I looked up this on Syracuse.com and this and that, and went to the state parks and stopped at a library. So how could I share all the things that I love doing here with everyone else? And the idea was born that I could build my own search with a database of all the things that I was telling people about. But building a website is complicated. And, we went through step by step all the things we learned. We built the website, but there is so much debugging for everything you put together. Then you have another thing to solve. Little things about spacing with CSS, making sure all of your API calls work. Where's the data? Where's the image? Is everything following through all the connections? So that was a great opportunity to learn. As one of our instructors always said, celebrate different errors. And with every error, I learned something new. And by the end of the course, I have completed my website. I have learned a full stack of skills. And I did actually write 10 lines of code without Googling anything, which was an accomplishment. And so then let me share with you what I built. So this is my homepage, which starts loading from my database, the different places that I have added with images that I took. And you can go to individual pages about these places, and ignoring typos, they can connect you to the how to get there through Google Maps, the place's websites, different ways to connect on Facebook. There's different images, thumbnails to click through. And then if you are looking for something in particular, there is a search page. And so say I am looking for somewhere outdoors, and it narrows it down, but I really want a waterfall. And then there we go. We have Pratt's Falls in Onondaga County. And you can see, and then you decide, is that where I want to go? And you can just redo that search as much as you want with all the different opportunities. I want somewhere historical, you know, whatever people are feeling like. I am going to up all the way to Jefferson County this weekend. I want to get out of here. And, you know, Bullock Castle comes up. So that is my that is my project, and I am very excited about expanding my database further, and making sure that everyone can find all the amazing things that I love about Central New York.
Stop sharing, and then you and
All right. I just want to say awesome work, Ariel. Sorry, is that?
That's, I'm,
You just gotta meet up.
I don't know where I put Zoom.
Dominic said good job.
Thank you. Yeah, sorry. This is the first time I've done an in-person thing in like 2 years, so I appreciate everyone bearing with the audio. But two things in particular, Brielle, I want to point out that were really great. So one is you explicitly noted what problems you had and then how you solved them. Love that. And then at the same time, all the skills you've learned, just explicitly noting those out. I think that was awesome. Very well done, Brielle. Very, very good presentation.
One thing to note for tomorrow is that you will not have to unmute your mic when you get up to the podium. You will only have to share your screen. And so if you're nervous about any of the audio issues that we're having tonight, don't be. There will be another laptop at the podium, and that will take care of all the audio and picking you up and all of that stuff. So unless you are presenting remotely tomorrow, you will not have to unmute your mic if you are in person.
Yeah, tonight is kind of all right. Any other thoughts or feedback for Brielle?
Real, I just thought, sorry, it's all right. I love the way that you kind of pose like the challenge that you had with like your work, how you loved it, but you wanted to grow creatively. I just thought it was really, you know, you did a great job with that.
True.
Yeah.
I just had one thing. I think you did a wonderful job. One of the things that Max mentioned was maybe talking a little bit about the back end. So you did a really great explanation of what was going on, what we were seeing visually. So maybe just you had some time left there to talk about what you were using in your tech stack that actually allowed it to filter down to what we were seeing. So,
I did work a lot of the back end.
yeah,
Probably should
yeah,
mention that.
yes. So take
Definitely
about 30 seconds to touch on that. You have the time. It was great. Okay, that's all.
All right, let me get my audio back here. Okay, up now we have Dominique, who's joining us virtually. And up next, we have Kyle. So Dominique, feel free to share your screen and take it over when you're ready. I think it might be on mute, Dominique. Check here.
I am always doing this. Hold on.
No worries. Yep, yourself. No worries.
While Dominique is pulling that up, a reminder that when you are on deck, you want to make sure that you've got your laptop ready, that you've got your slides up, and you've got your demo queued up, and both your front end and back end server running, right? So there's a lot that could go wrong. If you load up your front end and you think you're ready to present and you get a 500 and your code crashes and burns, right? Or so we want to make sure that, again, it's the slides that you have up and ready, your front end and back end servers running, and then your front end opened in a browser. And Dominique, I don't mean to call you out there. It is just an easy thing to forget. So a good reminder for everyone.
No, you're fine. It's fine. All right. So hi, my name is Dominique, and this is Black Blossom Vibe. We actually changed the name because I'm dealing with a partner right now. So it came to the point where the website right now is blackblossom.com, but I'm going to try to edit it today. I bought the domain, so I'm going to switch over it. So anyways, so what we're going to go over is a little bit about me, a little bit about the brand, the problems and solutions I encountered in my demo. So a little about myself. Growing up, I've always been interested in unifying the world. My father was an airman for the United States Air Force. So me and my family moved around a lot. And due to that, I was exposed to a lot of diverse cultures, hidden worlds, all types of different types of urban stories and whatnot. So pretty much my mission growing up as a millennial meant that I was the one always in the family who had to know what the technical issues were. I was the one troubleshooting phones, computers, everything. So with that being said, to me, life is full of different type of troubleshooting issues. So pretty much I put that into computers because I also like computers and engineering at that time. More so design. We are pretty much the webs that we weave, and that goes for coding as well. So my mission pretty much was to unify the world through technology, communication, and design. So one of the problems that I pretty much ran into just growing up was, where am I right now? Hold on. That the battle that we constantly keep dealing with is one with not only others, but ourselves. And communication for me is something that is very, very overlooked for everybody. We tend to talk to ourselves in a different way versus how we actually talk about ourselves outward and with other people. And then at times we tend to forget about other people. So I kind of want us to go back to like rebuilding with others and working on ourselves first is pretty much what Black Blossom is about. So this is the founding mothers. This is my friend Jasmine. And pretty much Black Blossom is an outlook created for individuals to learn coping skills, learn perspectives, lean on one another when it comes to emotional and stressful times. So the mission is pretty much enlightening our peers. We're embracing our goals. We're celebrating errors. We're doing all of that. So then the strengths that the brand brings is like coping techniques, natural remedies, positive affirmations. The weaknesses we want to tackle is the self-doubt, depression, anxiety, different type of opportunities. Like some of us dance, some of us draw, some of us walk, we go reading. And then the threats that we deal with, we're talking about like how to establish scapegoating, narcissistic behavior, gaslighting. We go through all types of different tricks and trades on how to deal with that. So then on this slide, I'm just pretty much showing like the different aspects of the website that I'm building with the app. We did React, I did Java, a little Heroku, CSS, and a little SAS. And the issues, the hard times that I had was pretty much, I was learning how to crawl. So I got to re-enter my MySpace eras where I was coding a little bit, but it was like HTML, CSS, whatever have you. Then on my second, pretty much midway, I'm walking. I'm like, okay, this seems all right. This seems pretty well. The hard times was pretty much learning how to do JavaScript. That was a little intimidating. The syndrome of the imposter syndrome hit me pretty hard that time. Then once I got rid of the imposter syndrome, my coding buddy died pretty much last month of tomorrow. So it kind of hit me hard because she was with me the entire time, always sitting in my lap, always helping me code. So it's kind of a relief that even though she's not here, I'm still here and we did it together. And let me show you my capstone. So this is what I have for right now. We redid the banner. And when I say we, I actually mean me. I just partnership, so I'm using we instead of me. What I really wanted to do on here was I had so many different designs and different layouts. So what I wanted to pretty much do was to show my styles on how I do certain cast and layovers. as you can see right here, when it goes back and forth, and then the button, how it pops up. Do it on all of them for this one. And let's go to the flowers. So then I have this layout for right now. The pages that you do not see right now will be pretty much where this button goes. And then I have this other button because I do have another website that also kind of has what I want on there, but I'm just transferring from one website to this website. And what else do I want to show you? My projects, another over layout that I had with the button on top over here. And this is what you're seeing. I believe this one is, yeah, that's the one for that page. And if I go back, this button underneath here, I have to actually identify them. This actually goes to my first website, which is my art site. But other than that, this is what I have. And thank you.
Thanks, Dominique. Hope they can hear the applause in the room. All right, thoughts or feedback for Dominique?
She's killing it. I looked at hers and looked at mine and went, what the hell, man? What are you doing? Totally different classes. I'm just saying, you're killing it. You're good.
I know, I'm sorry I went over. I gotta take some of these slides out. I just now seen the 2-minute mark, so I'm so sorry.
No, I think you were right on time, actually. I think the 2-minute mark was called right when you did your demo. And Dana, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think you're good for time.
Correct me.
Yeah, so I think you're good on time, Dominique.
Don't you slow clap when we get too far though? Did I
We will.
understand that
We
correctly?
will. We will start slow clapping.
I thought I understood that correctly. He slow claps us off the stage. Yeah, no, we're good then.
That'll be
Good.
Dana.
Jesse,
That'll be
you gotta
Dana's
slow clap.
responsibility. But one quick note, one quick note for you, Dominic, and for everyone else, and I've been guilty of this before as well. But when you were screen sharing, you didn't in the upper right hand corner, the present button, we could see your notes. So no worries for the dry run, but just make sure that you're in full screen mode. Otherwise, everyone will be able to see your notes too. So I've done that before. So no worries for today,
Yeah.
but make sure you're
I just didn't have time to write them down, so I didn't mind you seeing those notes.
No,
I just
don't
gotta
worry.
go through and
Yeah,
change
just
some
make sure
things.
tomorrow your first full screen, it'll be good.
And to tack on to that general feedback for everyone, make sure you have do not disturb mode turned on, because while you're sharing your screen, there will be, like, if you get a text message or notification, it will show up. And while encouraging messages from your family are great, it's a little embarrassing when they pop up while you're live streaming to the entire Hack Upstate audience. So I put a link in the in Slack for how to turn that on in case if you don't know.
Yeah, I'll actually do that right now real quick as well. Just share my screen real quick just for recording and everyone that's in the room right now. So this is really important, guys. So tomorrow in the upper right hand corner, and yours might look a little different, at least on my machine in the upper right hand corner. I think on whatever the new OS is, you should see this do not disturb show up by default. If not, you might need to scroll up like a little bit. That's what I have to do on my operating system. But in the very upper right hand corner, there's like that little, I know it's way up there, but if you click on that and you scroll up, then you should see a do not disturb option. Again, your UI is probably a little different than mine, but it should be on this panel somewhere. So I don't have any questions on that.
No
On the,
questions.
it is definitely different on the newer operating system. That menu icon looks like 2 toggle switches. And then when you click on it, it has do not disturb that pops up. So you want to go into like control center and then it will show that. But if you have any questions, just look at the link I put, and Apple has both versions on there.
Cool, thanks, Max. Yeah, I've been getting the please update your OS for about the past 3 years. So, all right.
Can I?
Yeah, sorry, Nathan, go real quick and then you go. Yeah, go ahead, Nathan. Sorry.
I just wanted to say, Dominique, your presentation was awesome. Do not forget, though, to replace Java with JavaScript, because in case you have anybody out in the crowd that thinks that you'd be happy writing Java, don't give them any ideas. You like writing JavaScript, you don't like Java.
Thanks, Nathan.
Yep.
Unless you actually learn Java, and then that is a differentiator that you can touch on. But unless you actually learn Java, we definitely do not want to mix up Java and JavaScript.
I look at Java every day
Got some Java haters in the room. Dana, you want to say something, Dana?
That Dominique, I know that during the boot camp, there's a lot of emphasis. You have a lot of lovers of the back end experience, who are involved in this. But, I tend to want to gravitate towards the front end masters. I mean, especially dealing with accessibility. That's where I live and breathe. And I would your presentation was wonderful. The visual effects are great. I would like to see you take more ownership of that, and with some of the ways that you describe what's going on there. You have some effects there where when you hover over certain things, like you have certain, some action happening there, right? So use that. When I hover over this is the effect that I have going on. Just put some of that tech talk stank up in there, and then and that would be the icing on the cake there. But yes, if you're going to be a front end master, also claim some of the language that comes with that, and just roll with that. And if you need help with that, just ping me. I'll be glad to throw some front end stank your way.
Thanks, Dana. Thank you.
Very good. Thanks, Dana. All right, let's give a nice big round of applause for Dominique again. All right, up now we have Kyle, and then on deck we will have Latanya. I will mute.
Yeah. So my name is Kyle Gilbert, and this is the project Syracuse Documentary. And a little bit about me. I have always been passionate about things that interest me, and my lifelong passion for languages led me to start a dual major in French and German and ultimately get a linguistics degree. But I've never worked in that field. I've been an office manager for 15 years, and I've always saved the things that I'm passionate about for my spare time. About 3 years ago, I decided to make a career change, which was really hard for me because I'm a very loyal person. It was not a decision that I made lightly. But I had this idea of returning to my interest in HTML from college and expanding on it. And I really committed to it when I realized that I could combine my passion for languages with my former interest in code through natural language processing. I found out about careers in code from a friend the day of the cohort 1 kickoff event, and I was terrified to go, but I forced myself, and I found this wonderful group, community of people at Hack Upstate. And so I started going to women in coding events, and I taught myself a little bit of Python, which absolutely confirmed that this was the thing for me, that it suited my ability to solve problems and my creativity. And people at Women in Coding encouraged me to go to a hackathon. So I did. And I was mostly an observer, but on a break, I stumbled into a problem that ultimately became my capstone 2 years later, when I found a paper booklet for a walking tour of Syracuse history. And I thought, well, this is cumbersome. This should be on a phone so that you can listen to narration and look around you. And I could even add sound effects to make it immersive. The project I was working on, or that I was on a team in at the hackathon, I was able to contribute a little bit to the brainstorming phase, and I was fascinated to see how a full stack project came together, but I was completely unable to follow the code, and I really, really wanted to. And for me, throughout this program, that's been the measure of how far I've come. The most momentous part of Careers in Code for me was when, after a weekend of commenting out every single line of code in our first big JavaScript class project, when I went into class that Monday, I suddenly felt like I could understand what the instructor was doing and even anticipate what he was going to do next.
When I chose my capstone, I began building the only audio-based tour of downtown Syracuse's history. While I was building it, I fell in love with the process of coding. Now, in addition to French and German, I speak JavaScript, and I'm looking forward to all the language learning to come. I am so excited that I no longer have to relegate the things I'm passionate about to my spare time. I now get to have a career doing this. I have never met a more welcoming, supportive, generous group of people than the technology community of Central New York, and I feel so lucky to be a part of it. Oh wait, I was gonna do this too. So for my capstone, I use React and JavaScript and HTML and SCSS, and the backend is Node.js with Express and PostgreSQL with SQLize. And here is my website. So the brochure that I found at the Hack Upstate was mainly about buildings and architecture, but I find people more interesting. So based on two significant things that have been happening in the past 2 years, the Black Lives Matter movement and the 100th anniversary of women winning the right to vote, I chose to focus on the stories of Americans' struggles for freedom and equality. My website is rather fresh design. It's designed to be used on a phone. So I have all these pictures in here to make it prettier when it's on a large screen, but on a mobile phone, it would look more something like this. And the responsiveness of the homepage was with Bootstrap breakpoints. And then you would click on the map. And this is Google Maps API. And you would click the Show My Location button, and that is with HTML geolocation. But for the purposes of Lemoyne, I'm going to say that I have that it does work, but that I have a preset location in downtown Syracuse so that it doesn't show up in DeWitt, and it's really far away and difficult to find the markers. So let's see. And then the idea is that you would, after you show your location, you would click the marker where you wanted to go, and you could read about the different sites, and then you would click Get Directions, and the directions show up. And you would walk to where you wanted to go, and when you got there, you would click the link. And the tour pages, data, and the map page are all loading from my API with the database that I created. And I use .maps to loop through the data for each tour site. I'm going to make this a little bit bigger just so it's easier to see. The image, you can flip through the different images, and the images change. I have narration and sound effects. So you can listen to the story of each site while you're there. This is done with HTML audio. And you click on play. Oh, and I forgot to share my sound, so that's not going to work. But it would play. Right, and then I would demonstrate, that you click on one of the sound effects and the sound changes, and I'm going to demonstrate that. And that was done with HTML audio. And I did have problems with the timing of the audio loading. And I have to go into some of the challenges about that Google Maps with JavaScript. Was pretty straightforward, but with React wrapper, it was very difficult, and the documentation was very confusing. And I don't know. Think of some other problems to talk about that I solved. I knew it was going to be too long.
Slow tap. Jesse, before we move on to anything, I just want to give you a few seconds to practice going out of screen share, going back into it, and checking that checkbox.
Yeah.
That says share sound. So
okay,
let's do that.
Oh, I have to do it before I even choose what screen.
Yeah.
Okay.
It would have displayed, but I had the audio.
Oh, and I'm glad that
Tomorrow you should be fine, and we can test that before, Kyle.
Yeah, and I hope it's not going to ask me to do my password again. That again tonight, like.
All right, just go right to share screen, just really quickly.
I did. I'm already there. Yep. All right.
Yeah, so it's gonna be echoey, but.
Oh, that's on the horse and carriage because okay.
Right.
All right. And
the area surrounding Fayette Park was home to several abolitionists. And the park and houses around.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
Good.
Okay.
I wanna like go on your tour.
All right, quit Zoom.
All right.
All right, so.
My mom keeps telling me. That was great.
All right. Round of applause for Kyle.
I just had one comment for feedback for Kyle. Thank you so much for reminding us about the responsiveness of the websites. You all know that mobile first is kind of the thing right now. If you're doing a whole lot of work on the front end, maybe you didn't get to the things on the back end that you wanted and don't really want to mention that, you have a great opportunity to show the audience the responsiveness of your websites. I know that all of you have done that. So Dominique, you know, one of it, especially for you, you've done a whole bunch of work on your front end there. Brandy, your website is responsive. Just take a moment to show the audience that you can resize the screen and how everything lines up. Okay.
Thanks, Tina. Kyle, if you can mute your speakers, then we should. Max, go ahead. Sorry. Max, one second. Try again, Max. Okay, it's Max. Okay. Give it just a second. While Max is trying to get his audio sorted, awesome work, Kyle. Really well done.
Can you explain how the slow clap works? When you started, I thought that it was okay.
Mine was slower.
Can you go?
We heard you for just a second, Max.
Yeah, I just wanted to throw in to counter Dana's point. Definitely show off your mobile responsiveness, but if you have not spent time on your mobile responsiveness, don't be afraid to use a preset window size that you know things are going to look right on. Because you know there is no shame in not having mobile responsiveness done at this point. So don't be afraid to have your window size preset. And if you do have mobile responsiveness done, definitely show how it scales up. Just think about what page you want to show that on, because there are definitely things that show off mobile responsiveness better than other parts of your site might.
Thanks, Max. Really good point. All right. Awesome work, Kyle. All right. Up now, we have Latonya, and then on deck, we have Shaw.
Hello, Code World. My name is Latonya Matrice. I am the CEO, Executive Officer, and founder of Latonya Matrice Communications and Creative Specialist. I made a transition from working in a bank doing marketing specialty work just before the pandemic hit. So I transitioned to my small business, and then I had no income. I didn't know what I was gonna do. But I had already put careers in code on my radar because someone who was in cohort 1 told me about it. And so I basically signed up for the Slack channel and alerts, the email alerts, so I would know what's happening. And I just started trying to read books and watch videos and kind of prepare to get in. Ultimately, I think it was just prayer that got me in because studying from a book was not working for me. I needed to have what Careers and Codes offers. So I'm glad I got in. It's been a long haul. I had a lot of stuff going on I was trying to manage while doing this. And essentially, I just took it a moment by moment kind of way to get to this day. So in the background, you see, oh, I'm sorry.
Again, I'll be there. I would have noticed like no one's here.
Okay.
You can always.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So in the background, you see this palm tree. When I do show you my capstone, you're going to see all original content that I generated while I was on immersion for my master's program in Costa Rica. Throughout this process, I've just learned so much about myself. I knew that I was a fighter. I just didn't know how much I could really take. And now I know that I really do have a higher sense of resilience than I knew. And it's not that I did it on my own. I really reached out for a lot of help on this, because initially my concept was that I was going to build this showpiece that would show my original content, and it would be this full site. I would have this huge database, and I would have all this content I had, curated over time, and do all of that. And then reality set in, and I knew that like it's just not possible. Didn't come from a coding background, so I was starting from day one. So for me to have that kind of ambition just wasn't realistic, but it was something I had to learn over time. And so what you see up top is a palm tree. When you go through my site, you'll see the links here. Everything, I'm happy to say, is wired. And like I said, I had a lot of help with that. So you can actually subscribe. You can click on this, which will take you to my digital portfolio gateway, which I'll show you later. This is just a little story about how I came to be a coder. Essentially, my passion is for communications, and I really love approaching communications with optimism. I think that if everybody did that, we could get a lot more stuff done, and we can see eye to eye more often. And then I just have an unsubscribe on here also. So this is the body links. If you go through, you see I was very careful to scale down from what I had, having realistic expectations. This is the open weather API. It's showing you the current temperature in New York, and this is the current temperature in Costa Rica. Just a little blurb about, what I put together in my footer. If you pull on this, it does scale down pretty well, looks pretty good. Mobile, very nice like that. I'm gonna go back out. The search, I opted not to use a submit button. So if you just type in collection, then down here, you're gonna see the ones you saw at the bottom. Now, if you go and you click on this button, I'm not going to click it because it's loading slow, but if you click on that, it's going to take you to this screen, and then you can load in and you can go to my next screen, which is where you can set up an account or update your account. This is actually not wired, but it looks good, I think. So, it's in there. And then this is what the back says. So this is my back end running, and it just lets you know what's up. So when I told you before, where it says connect, and it takes you to my digital portfolio gateway. That is this. Wait for it. It's coming. I promise you. It just usually takes a little bit. So this is my digital portfolio gateway. This is every place you can connect with me. So you can go to my code sandbox. I went in and put a bunch of our projects. We did a ton of stuff over the course of these 6 months. And so you can go in and see all my hard work in there. And a couple things I did for self-study on my own are in there as well. You can connect with me on Facebook. My GitHub is up. You can look at my code. You can tell I'm a newbie because there's still some comments in there. One of the things I wanted to do was I wanted to go back through and refactor my code and clean it up. And I didn't have a chance to do that. I also wanted to wire everything, and I didn't get a chance to do that. Because I try to be an overachiever, I asked for a testimonial. Jesse was kind enough to give me one. So you can visit my site and see that. I put a lot of work into my Trello board, which I probably should go and clean up a little bit because there was stuff I wasn't able to do, and I'm not really sure what etiquette is. Like, should I leave that there so you can see that I didn't finish it or migrate it to some other thing? But if you scan this or if you click it, it'll take you to my Trello board so you can see all my hard work there. Then we did a bunch of mock interviews. So Careers and Codes, they didn't just want to get us set to be full stack JavaScript coders. They wanted to prepare us to actually go out and get jobs and keep those jobs and all that kind of stuff. So from my mock interviews, what I did is I went through and I sliced out some of my audio and created this audio file. So if you click on this, you can hear a little insight from me about how I got to be here, how I think, that kind of stuff. It's about 3 minutes, but considering I did 8 mock interviews, I think I did really well with my editing skills and cutting that down. This, you can access my resume if you like, and pretty much that's it. So thank you for visiting.
Thanks. Latanya, if you wouldn't mind, stop sharing your screen, mute, and then put your volume down just so we don't get the echo. Great work, Latanya.
Not that I wanted to give you a dirty look when you did that. It was like.
It sucks. Yeah, it sucks to start the slow clap. But again, that's what
I'm like, she's talking.
the dry run's for, right? So, One quick thing, Latonya, that I might, and this is up to you, but I know you had that Trello board for kind of tracking your capstone work. It might not be a bad idea to show that off, like maybe on like a slide deck, even just like a little screenshot, like, hey, here is how I plan my capstones, and here's how I did it, right? I think that'd be pretty powerful to share that. But again, just a suggestion, up to you if you'd like to or not. But
I'll have to trim down. I don't know if I still talk too much. I thought I would. I kept promising you all.
I really wanted to give you
Well,
10
so I'm
10
so
more
confused
seconds so
about
you
the
can
slow
press that
class.
button.
So the slow class starts at 2 minutes, right? That's not 2 minutes.
No,
That's your
6-minute,
ma'am.
That is your six, yeah.
So did you already say?
I was at 5 seconds when I said, no, I didn't have the heart to snap. I didn't have the heart.
yes, so
Why
just.
did you prime me for a snap and then not snap?
So just to clarify, I think, again, tomorrow, like Dana will be in your line of sight, and then she'll hold a sign up that says 2 minutes left to your demo. If you're not already demoing already. So that'll be your 2-minute warning, basically. And then she'll hold up another sign that says time's up, wrap it up. And then she'll wait, another 20 seconds after that, and then start the slow clap. So.
Like they do at the Senate hearings, and they're like,
It's the cane, yeah. Max, I think Max has some feedback on Max. Want to go?
Yeah, one thing to say is if you are struggling with your time, if you find yourself hitting that 6-minute mark, actually just do a Google search for timer and hit the start button, and then practice your entire presentation as if you were talking to yourself in front of a mirror, because it is so easy to go over that 6-minute mark without seeing that timer in front of you. So while in person tomorrow, it will be much easier to see Dana and the 2-minute warning. You want to practice with a timer yourself, just so you can feel what it's like to hit 4 minutes, to hit 6 minutes, and then go, wow, I still have a lot more that I want to say, right? So we will definitely be strict on the time tomorrow, but the way you can get ahead of that is practice yourself in front of, with a timer.
So,
your graphics are amazing. The palm tree made me feel like I was there. That there was, the responsive version was also just amazing. So just some positive feedback.
Cool.
was I talking too loud? I could yell.
No, you're good.
No,
I would say err on the side of being louder than quieter. So if you find you're a little more soft spoken, try to even I think there'll be a mic there to help elevate your voice a little, but always speak louder when in doubt. That's my advice. James Commons. The James Commons building, yeah. So I'm pretty sure that there's a microphone there. Yeah. So
There should be. I
Yeah.
went there, that's why I'm asking.
okay. I don't know that. Okay. Very good.
You're trying to be like all the places.
Yeah. So should be fine.
James Commons?
Yes.
It's like an auditorium, basically.
Oh, okay. That's
So,
what I was,
yeah,
sorry.
yeah.
That's what I was asking. I
Yeah,
just heard words and I didn't know what they meant.
Yeah.
You were
There's
naming
definitely,
things.
there's definitely a microphone.
Okay. Very good. Great work, Latonya. All right. Up next, we have Shaw. I just want to point something out. So, as we're going to the QA, Shaw is ready to go. Got his slides for tomorrow. Be on that same level. Be ready to go, when I say your name. So up now we have Shaw. And up next, we'll have Ariel.
Don't forget to unmute, Shaw.
For me, one of the reasons that
Shaw, can you unmute real quick? Sorry. Thank you.
one of the reasons that I changed my career to technology or coding was that based on my experience of working with a few small businesses and observing their work, I felt that there was a disconnect between the small businesses and the use of technology. Most of the small business could not afford to use technology for their operations, for their accounting, and for their website. So that's why I entered coding, and I'm lucky to be part of Careers in Code, where we learn a lot of great stuff. As part of my Capstone, I have two things. Both of them are related to work that we have done. First one is developing a full stack website for a small business. Like I said, my goal, I'm passionate, or my goal is to help businesses solve problems. So for my technology stack, I have used HTML, CSS, Bootstrap, JavaScript. And for the backend, I have used Postgres database, Beekeeper. I've also used SendGrid API email to send emails. I've also used testing and Heroku. For monitoring, I've used the built-in Heroku tools as well as SendGrid activity monitoring. So I'm going to show my website. This is the main page. Actually, this is for a business that is running, and the website is live. They've been using this for 2 to 3 weeks. This is the about page. This is the contact page. This is connected to the backend node server and uses SendGrid's API. I am also working with the business to design a database where clients can sign in. There will be a proper database using Beekeeper, SQL, and Postgres. Clients will be able to sign in and submit their request and request services from the company. So that will complete the full stack. My next, the second one is designing an app for a nonprofit. So again, I wanted to help a business or organization solve a problem. So I did a quick research and found a request for proposal for a nonprofit. So based on that, I did a quick markup. Usually I use other tools like Microsoft Visio or Diagram.net to create layouts and other stuff, but I didn't have a lot of time, so I quickly created this cheat sheet because the document was a big document. So this way I broke down the business problem into components and smaller parts, and also this helps me with designing the app. So for Salesforce, again, I wanted to do something new. And also wanted to test my ability to learn something new without a mentor or without receiving any training, anything, because in this field, if you want to succeed, you have to be able to take a look at a new technology and learn it and try to improve it using the documentation and resources that are publicly available. So I did that. I've never done a single line of code in Salesforce or the language that are used in Salesforce, whether it's front end or back end. But after some work, I was able to do that. So I'm going to show that. So this is the app. I call it Capstone. You can call it anything. The first model is the clients. This is where all the client intake, everything happens. Again, this is based on the request for proposal. So you do the client intake here. Then after that, you assign the client to one of the services. That's like the typical nonprofit business flow, workflow. You have a client, then you do the intake or register, and then you assign them to one of the services. And then you document the interaction and create reports, which basically is the indicator or performance measurements reports. For this front end, I've used JavaScript and the Salesforce's markup language, which is called Visual Force Page. I've also used for this one, for the back end of this, I've used Apex and also a couple of triggers. This is my trigger. This was actually the first one. It took me a few hours, but I got it working. And this is the JavaScript, CSS, and Visual Force Page. I can use Bootstrap to make this better and prettier. But I don't have time for that. These are the other modules. Again, these are all based on the requirement of the grant. One thing that is missing here that is I have worked, but I need to deploy is the reporting, where there will be dashboards to present the reports. Because as a business, when you do these things, you need to be able to, especially the manager and staff, they need to be able to see the results. The security I've enabled.
Yeah, for the slow clap. I feel like I'm next for the slow clap. Y'all are gonna clap for 20 minutes before I stop.
So stop sharing, Shaw, and then turn your volume down and go on mute again.
Yep, thank you.
Every time and I go.
Let's see, I think we got a.
I muted.
Volume. All right. Thoughts for Shaw, anyone?
Did you do 2 Capstone shots? That was just me. I'm like, oh God.
The first one I did, the back end, I was waiting for the business because one of the challenges when you open the actual business.
Yeah.
I mean, then you basically do the coding, do the working according to what you did.
Yeah.
So they didn't know about their business process really. So I said, okay, can you explain the whole process to me?
Yeah.
And a couple of weeks ago, they did that. I said, okay, this is what I can do. So this part of your business, like for now, what clients do, clients call them, then they send them a contract, then they fill that out and send them. So I said, what I can do is I can set up something on the back end, a database where clients can go to your website, click on the page, register or sign or whatever, fill that out and send it. So they will receive that. And then similarly, another thing Sarah will do, they can go there, request services, just fill out the forms, and then you get a confirmation, the business will call them or whatever, usually through phone, or confirm the service.
That is so cool.
Yeah, but again, I didn't know, like I said, yeah. So I was like, yeah, we have done a lot of stuff. I said, yeah, this not enough. So I said, yeah, let's try something.
I love it. That's awesome. I learned a lot from Shaw.
Yeah.
Yeah, great work, Shaw. The one thing, Shaw, and I know like you went a little over there, so as Max and I think we've all said, just make sure you practice a little, just for timing. Presentation was great. The one thing that, again, if you need to carve out a couple seconds and kind of save on time, you could probably skip on like showing actual code, right? Like you could just show like the GUI or like the UI or whatnot. You didn't show too much of it, but you could probably save like 10-20 seconds there if you need to cut out a little bit of time. So just one thought, just for time if you're worried about that.
Yeah, I just wanted to add one thing. Shaw, if you could just mention, by the way, great work, but one of the things that we talked about last night was that, you built something like this to be able to help a company manage their client workflow and then the workers and people going in and out of systems. So I would just say, just mention that, because when you're talking about a company that's looking to be able to manage on a strategic level like that in this digital world, that's huge, even without seeing your code.
Yeah, thank you. That's a good one. But like, yes, like if you look at the business operations, like if you look at a 360 view of a business operation, so you have the website with you for marketing and where the clients come and visit, especially if you're marketing and the services. Then you have the second thing where you document your interaction with your customers. With this one, even you can send emails, you can send SMS, you can send like documents for signing. So that what leaves you with is basically your accounting, your finance, and payroll. So that's kind of 60% or maybe more than 50% of the business operation. And these are for actual business. Okay.
Very good. Thanks, Shaw. Great work. All right. And last but not least, we have Ariel. So Ariel, feel free to unmute yourself, share your screen when you're ready.
Are we good? So I'm Ariel, for those who aren't.
Share your screen.
All right, fine. God, he's always giving me nonsense. Hold on.
26 weeks of you guys telling me I wasn't sharing my screen, and now I can finally retaliate.
It's about time. Don't tell him to come for me. This is not the time. He would too. Okay. we all can see now. This is clearly up, right? We're all good now. We're solid. Thank you, Max. I wasn't sure. So I'm Ariel, single mother of 3 who some of you had to meet tonight, and I'm so sorry. They're locked somewhere right now. It's fine. I did web design and digital marketing for startups and entrepreneurs prior to getting into boot camp. I was happy doing it, but it wasn't very challenging. It didn't fulfill me the way I was hoping it would. I found myself lacking direction. So a little bit about me, started with MySpace at 12 because I'm a millennial. So HTML and CSS, that's what worked for me. I wasn't making enough money with Upwork. The kids eat a lot, like a lot. They just eat so much. I've always, again, I've loved design, but there was a lot of lack of options with it doing WordPress with page builders. So as far as the why, I needed more mentally, Upwork wasn't paying. I, again, have not updated skills since MySpace. You guys, that was like 2003. It wasn't going well for any of us. Also, I'm colorblind and clients keep telling me to make it pop. I don't know what that means because nothing pops. I'm colorblind. Just putting that out there, just throwing that in. So one of the other things, not just when I say I'm colorblind, but when we started the program in March, I was overzealous and I got excited about the Capstone. And my first meeting with Max, I said, listen, I need you to talk me off the ledge. I'm going to Ariel it. And he looked at me so blankly. He had no idea what I meant. And I said, I'm going to Ariel it. And he goes, I don't know what that means. Every instructor before week 3. Nathan can attest. Max can attest. That's a verb now. I submitted it to Urban Dictionary. I Arieled something is not a good thing, you guys. Don't do it. It's been 6 months. I was kind of nervous. This is the process I went through. If you've noticed, the Slack ping Max is pretty full on the check marks. After the 6 months, I did learn Ariel something has a new meaning. It's not just a negative connotation for a verb anymore. 2 months into the program, had some traumatic personal events take place, and I thought that was going to be the end of the journey. I thought I was done. I didn't think I was going to make it to this point. The amount of support I got from this program and the teachers and the other students, you guys here, I'm here because somebody believed in me in this program, and it's more than I might have believed in myself. And the biggest thing I took away from this program was not that I can do full stack, which clearly, I mean, we can tell Max has been doing most of it at this point, but I'm capable of what I'm doing with this. It seemed like something was unobtainable until I had gotten 6 months in. 24 weeks in, I realized not only can I do it, the amount of sleepless nights add up to something. It's not just a question of, yeah, there's a couple crying on there. There's stress eating, but I learned JavaScript and React and Node. I didn't know what that was 6 months ago. That's a really big thing for me. And that's something that I can pass on to my kids, which is really nice because I was about to take up underwater basket weaving. And I got to tell you, I can't swim well. It wasn't going to go really well, you guys. So that's where we're at now. However, I did make for my capstone a dating application because I'm aware when I started, it was for COVID. Because of the pandemic, I was worried about safe dating during vaccination time. But the more I got into it, I realized that catfishing is a real problem. So as you can see, I clearly, if anybody's familiar, MTV definitely donated that photo. Nobody asked questions. A catfish, somebody who fakes a social media profile for a false identity. Yep. There's 1 out of 3 people are catfished actually online out of the almost 16,000. So my solutions were authorized chat sign in through Google, required video chat, and you can rate your date after you've met them. So what I do have is here, my actual. So with your match page, there are ratings attached. So Rachel has 2. She's clearly not somebody you want to date. There's 5 here and 4 here. When they go through their profile, there is a rating. My biggest thing was our chat. As you can see, Max helped me. As you can see,
So there is a Google sign-in, which I will show you quickly. This is going to be a separate account here. And you can log in. Anybody on Google, if they've authenticated, can send in from whatever browser they're in. So after going through Firebase and going through JavaScript, React, Node, all of that, we went with Firebase instead of SQLize because I was way too comfortable, needed to challenge myself a little bit more. I'm looking to add WebRTC and Socket.io for video and geospatial capabilities. But otherwise, thanks. Sorry. That's what we have. Listen, Dana went and I went,
Nice work, Ariel.
let me turn it down. Let me turn it
Yeah,
down.
mute yourself and audio. Thank you, Ariel.
I don't know because I'm colorblind. We talked about this. I'm sorry. Thank you.
Thanks, Ariel. Thoughts for Ariel, anyone?
I like how you did a what's next page. I forgot all about that because like no capstone or anything is ever complete. So I really like how you did a what's next, like what you're going to be working on next for your capstone.
Thank you. I don't know if she can hear me. It's gonna be muted.
Yeah, she can. She said thank you, Dominic, if you didn't hear. Yeah, she'll be able to hear.
Also, can
I thought that the
came and I was like, all right, so what we're gonna do real quick, bust through, I heard the one, and I went, oh no, all right, I just wanna sit here and be real quiet.
Yeah, Nathan has some feedback for you.
Yes, please, 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 please.
I just wanted to say that the presentation was excellent. The only thing that I got hung up on was the very last part. Nobody should apologize at the end. You've spent how long working on this? You know, your presentation is to show off and celebrate. There should be absolutely no apologizing for what you're sharing, what you're doing, what you've done. So no saying sorry at the end.
All right, everyone.
I think most people have already seen this, but I've provided feedback for everyone who's presented in Slack. I've just DM'd it to you guys. So if you have any questions, feel free to hit me up in Slack. But just provided some action points for everyone. Sorry, didn't capitalize time.
Cool. Thank you, Max. Appreciate you doing that. All right, everyone. Dry runs that marks the end of dry runs. Does anyone have any other, just for folks in the Zoom call, does anyone else have any other closing thoughts, feedback, questions for tomorrow? Anything at all?
So,
Yeah, please.
we surf the internet, right? And we're jumping from site to site, and there's if you don't capture their attention within 3 seconds, they're moving on to the next thing. Well, your stuff is sharp. I mean, anyone that goes to your site where you have definitely with your color, your layout, you're captured that attention, and you know you're looking to go big with this. I think you are like at a very great starting point for having a capture. Thank you.
All right. Any other questions, thoughts, feedback? Anyone? Going once? Going twice? No, I'll be on Slack all day tomorrow too. So if anyone has any questions, students channel, you know where to find us. But yeah, everyone, just practice. Again, make sure you have those offline first solutions. Take some deep breaths. Write that script if you have to. Those bullet points. And yeah, like Max noted as well, one thing I'll hammer home too. Don't get in front of a mirror and time yourself. And if you do that 2 or 3 times, you'll be in a really good spot for tomorrow. But everyone did a really awesome job with these capstones. Just tighten them up a little bit and celebrate those journeys tomorrow, everyone. Carolyn.
Yes, I just want to tell everybody, I've been sending people direct messages, but you guys are a real inspiration to me. You are amazing. You're incredible. It's been an incredible journey. I'm really looking forward to tomorrow night. My husband's going to come along and I'm still going to do my capstone, guys. You're keeping me going, but I just can't tell you enough how awesome what you're working on is, and I've seen it grow through the time, and you guys are just amazing. So thanks. That's it.
Appreciate that. Sorry, who was you? Kyle, your question?
So we're planning on downloading our Capstone live, but we just don't have like backup in case of internet trouble.
Yep.
I know you had mentioned the whole plan about like sending it before midnight tonight to YouTube or whatever, but if we're really planning to do it live and it's just backup, can I just have like the time?
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Yeah. I just did that so to just send it if you have it, right? But if you have it locally on QuickTime, that's totally fine. Just as long as you have some solution to be able to pull it up, it's totally fine. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Yeah. Yeah, Dana, go ahead, and then Sean.
Is there anything special that they'll need to do to connect to the Wi-Fi once on campus?
Yeah, it's a pretty straightforward procedure. I think is you just enter your email and your phone, I think, and we'll get you all squared away with everything before you go on stage. There will be some IT folks there as well helping if you need to. But yeah, it's pretty straightforward. Shaw, you had a question?
Another question, kind of maybe a comment, kind of, I think great comments from Ariel, from Max, Mira, all of you. That's great. But I think, all of us, we shouldn't worry much about the presentation. I know it's presenting is very important, that's key. But the fact is that even if for some reason you end up there, just maybe everything goes wrong. If you have you're up there, or you're starting to people will know that you have worked. Anyone, especially that was working coding, will know how much effort you put behind everything. Right?
Yep.
So you should be proud of that. No matter what happens.
Thanks, Shaw. Very well said. All right, everyone. Well, you're welcome to stay here as long as you like. If you want to keep working, I want to go home though. But great work, everyone. I'm going to stop the stream now. Thanks, everyone. For Max, one last.
Jesse, yeah, quick question. Dominique had a question. It was parking lot C and what other one?
Yeah, sorry. Lot C and double E, so EE. So either one of those two lots are fine to park in. I'm going to park in lot C just because I think that one's a little bit closer, but either are fine to park in. Lot C, that's what I thought too. Yeah, so recommend lot C lot C recommended. If for whatever reason that's like completely overflow, you can do double E. All right. Thanks, everyone. I'm going to stop the stream. Again, if you have any follow-up questions, ask them in the students channel or ping me on Slack. Thanks, everyone, for all your thoughts and feedback virtually. And thanks to everyone. We'll see you tomorrow.
See ya.
Bye-bye.